Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, where today guys, I'm gonna do part 7 to my Google Gemini chatbot series, where in today's video guys, we're gonna do one of the older ones I haven't touched on here yet. I did the fairy type Fragger and the Transforming Totodile, and I was thinking of going back to the Transforming Totodile, but never got the chance to do so yet. I'm actually going to do this Totodile right here. This is supposed to be a normal Totodile that I just told Google Gemini to make me a story out of. And it did alright, and it already gave me kind of a story that sounds like I would probably put on there. This is about a Totodile, but the actual name of the story is called The Iron Jaw's First Encounter. And it's not supposed to be a steel type. So it's like, what in the world? Why do they call him Iron Jaw? It's kind of terrifying. Although I think the first three words on this should probably give it away. It says, feral and feared. This Totodile was a creature of myth among the Pokemon trainers who frequented the waterways of the Johto region. They called him the Iron Jaw, a name earned from the way he would snap at anything and everything that dared to cross his path. His aggression wasn't born of malice, but of a life forged in solitude and hardship. As a young Totodile, he was abandoned by his original trainer, a ruthless man who saw him as nothing more than a tool for battle. The trainer pushed him beyond his limits, often refusing to feed him until he had won a battle, and then only offering him the bare minimum. This harsh treatment left him with a deep distrust of humans and a hunger that could never be sated. S-A-T-E-D, never heard that before. After a particularly brutal loss, his trainer tossed him aside, leaving him in a shallow pond to fend for himself. Left to survive alone, he learned to hunt with a ferocity that few porn could match. He honed his jaws into a weapon. Oh dear. Capable of crushing the shells of even the toughest of shelter. He grew in... What the frick? He grew in size and strength. His hide becoming a dark, mottled... How do you say the word? M-O-T-T-L-E-D. Becoming a hard... Mottled? I can't say it right. Just green. Scarred with the marks of countless battles against wild Pokemon and the occasional overly confident trainer. His eyes, once full of childlike curiosity, were now a cold, piercing yellow, weary of any shadow that fell over the water. He found solace only in the quiet depths of a hidden grotto, a place where the water was so clear it reflected the stars on the darkest of nights. This was his sanctuary, a place where he could be free from the constant threat of capture and the painful memories of his past. It was here, in this secluded grotto, that the story of the Iron Jaw truly began to spread, with whispers of a powerful, untamable Totodile guarding its waters. Many had tried to challenge him, but none had succeeded. He was an untamed force of nature, a testament to the fact that not all Pokemon were meant to be tamed, and that some battles were fought not for glory, but for survival. As the story goes, one day as the sun began to set, a lone figure stood on the edge of the grotto. The Totodile, ever vigilant, watched from the shadows. The person simply sat down, not pulling out a Pokeball or a net, but a small fishing rod. They cast a line to the water and waited. The Totodile's eyes narrowed, ready to snap at the lure, but it was just a simple line with a single untouched berry on the end. The person didn't try to capture him, didn't try to battle him. They just sat there in the quiet and waited, and for the first time in a very long time, the Totodile felt something other than rage and fear. He felt a flicker of curiosity, and that's actually where it ends it off, which is actually kind of cute. We'll see if it continues in a second. Give me a minute. Alright guys, I just sit there near the lake waiting for something to take the berry. I didn't notice the Totodile because of him being hidden so well in the shadows. The small untouched berry bobbed gently on the surface of the water, a solitary speck of red against the murky depths. Minutes turned into what felt like hours, and the sun began its descent, painting the sky in fiery shades of orange and pink. The air grew cool, and the sound of the crickets began to fill the silence. Suddenly, the water rippled. It wasn't a fish or a bug, but a slow, deliberate movement from below. The ripples spread outward from the center of the lake, growing in size as the presence beneath them drew closer. Surface of the water broke. For a fleeting moment, a set of cold, yellow eyes met the reflection of the setting sun. The Totodile, the Iron Jaw himself, emerged from the water, his dark green hide shimmering in the fading light. He was far larger. He was far larger than any Totodile you had ever seen, with a jaw that looked strong enough to snap a log in half. And remember, guys, I didn't actually make this. I told Google Gemini to make its own story for me about a Totodile. The irony, the fact that it made a Totodile that's bigger in size. Are you sure this is not ChatGPT? Because I have a ton of stories on there that flipping have that kind of thing to it. He wasn't hostile, not yet. He simply watched the berry, and then you. A silent, unblinking gaze that felt as though it was piercing straight through to your soul. He didn't lunge. He didn't snap. He simply floated there, his massive form a testament to the harsh life he had lived. The silence stretched, a tense moment of a standoff between a boy. Why do they have to call him a? I'm not calling him that. A boy and a Pokemon. I'm not saying the word that they called him. He didn't make a move to take the berry, but he didn't swim away either. He was a puzzle, a creature of pure instinct and raw power, and that's why he was a mystery you couldn't help but want to solve. And I wish you wouldn't have worded it for me, though. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I just get a little startled at the size of the Totodile, but instead of running away right away, I nervously say, hi. You're not going to attack me, are you? The sudden sound of your voice, however shaky, caused the Totodile to flinch. Oh no, he's about to attack me, isn't he? His head tilts slightly, his cold yellow eyes blinking once before fixating on you again. It's a look that holds a mixture of surprise and suspicion, as if he's never heard a human speak to him in such a way. He lets out a low, guttural growl, a sound vibrates through the still evening air. But it's still not the aggressive snarl you might have expected. It's more of a warning, a rumbling question. He doesn't attack. He doesn't even move closer. The bird continues to bob between you, a silent offering. The tension in the air is heavy, but it's not the kind of tension that comes before a fight. I hope not. It's the tension of a standoff. Oh dear, a test of wills. Oh, sweet Arceus. The Totodile's massive form remains a statue in the water, his attention entirely focused on you and your small, nervous form. The only sound is the rhythmic buzz of the crickets, and the soft lapping of the water against the rocks. Silence that follows your words feels like a question he's trying to answer. That's the one thing I wish that's why I wish they could speak English. That's why a lot of them I try to make sure they speak English. Because dear me, if you don't know, because it gets awkward like this and you don't know what to say. Give me a second. Oh, what if we say it and all of a sudden you just start speaking out of nowhere in like a second? Alright guys, I just told him, please, ask it you do not hurt me. I'm not going to hurt you, I promise. If you want that berry, you can have it. Just untie it from the string. The Totodile's jaw, a powerful tool of both offense and defense, remains slightly agape. What, because he's shocked? He watches you with an intensity that seems to catalog every detail of your face. He doesn't move towards the berry, or away from it. He simply floats there, a living statue of green scales and raw power. Your words hang in the air between you, a fragile plea that seems to have resonated with him. His guttural growl subsides, and he lets out a soft huff of air through his snout, a sound that's almost like a sigh. He slowly and deliberately turns his head to look at the berry. He takes a single slow step forward in the water, his massive belly making a ripple. He eyes the line and then the berry as if weighing his options. His past has taught him to be weary of any human trick. Yeah, I'm gonna be the one. Okay, for one, this Totodile is apparently massive. It doesn't say how big this Totodile is, but knowing my luck, I could be doing with a flipping Totodile the size of Godzilla right now. I don't know. Again, I didn't make this. This is flipping with ChatGPT. I said character AI and ChatGPT. No, this is what Google Gemini gave me as a chatbot. So yeah, I just said make me a story about a Totodile. Let's see. Yep, any hidden trap. Their promise and the simple, unguarded offer of the berry seems to be a variable he has never encountered before. The moment is a crossroad, and for the first time in a very long time, the fearsome Iron Jaw seems unsure of which path to take. He's a creature of aggression and instinct, but at this moment he's a creature of thought and of hesitation. Okay then. How do I even word that? Alright, give me a minute. Alright, guys. It says, go ahead. It's yours if you want it. I promise I come in peace. If you're thinking I'm trying to trap you with something, I promise you I'm not. And showing the mean it, I put my fishing rod down on the ground and go a few steps to the right. The sight of you placing the fishing rod on the ground and moving away is what finally breaks his hesitation. Gesture is clear, a sign of surrender, and a show of trust he has never seen from a human before. His cold, suspicious eyes widen slightly, and for the first time a flicker of something akin to curiosity, even vulnerability appears in them. He watches you, his head slightly tilted to the side, as if trying to decipher the strange new language of peace you are speaking. He has not seen peace in so much he thinks it seems like a foreign language to him. Slowly and almost imperceptibly, he begins to move. It's a crawl more than a swim. His powerful legs propelling him forward in the shallow water. He doesn't lunge, doesn't snap. His movements are deliberate and cautious. He inches closer to the bobbing berry, his eyes never leaving yours. He's still guarded, still ready to bowl at the first sign of a trick, but he's coming closer. He finally reaches the berry. He doesn't untie it with his claws or teeth. Instead, he simply nudges it gently with his snout, testing it. The berry bobs on the string, completely harmless. After a moment, he looks back at you, a silent question in his gaze. He seems to be asking, why? You don't have an answer. Not in words, anyway. There's stillness. The fact that you haven't moved to seize him is an answer in itself. After a long moment, the turtle finally and slowly takes the berry into his powerful jaws. The slightest sound of a gentle crunch echoes in the silence of the grotto, a sound that for the first time isn't born of aggression. Oh god. I just wish I knew how big this Totodile is, because, it said he was in shallow water. Doesn't that technically mean that if all I could see was his eyes peeking out at me, that Totodile must be like the size of a flippin', well, no, that wouldn't make sense. No, that makes sense if the Totodile's kind of small, too. I don't know. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I just said, there you go. Is it good? And I hope you like it. He swallowed the berry in a single, careful gulp. The tension in his body, which had been coiled like a spring since your first word, seemed to release in a slow exhale. He looked at you again. His expression no longer one of suspicion, but of something new. It was a look of cautious acceptance, of a question that had been answered. He didn't swim away. Instead, he pawed a little closer, his massive form now more of a curious presence than a threat. He lowered his head and with a soft huff nudged the side of the fishing rod he had left on the ground as a gesture of acknowledgement, a silent way of saying, thank you. The fearsome Iron Jaw of the Grotto, a creature of myth and legend, had just accepted a gift from a human, and in the soft glow of the setting sun, he felt a bond begin to form between you and this lonely, aggressive Totodile. The journey to befriend him had just begun. I mean, I don't know what else I can do. It'd be easier if he could speak. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, having a little gesture like that's adorable, but it's like, that's what makes some of the last ones really good. Like, even though they were kind of short. Like, even the last one literally ended off, or the last fairy type Farragur one I did, literally ended off with me finding that Farragur having a dragon, like a dragon helper, and like that dragon being honored that I would give him a nickname, and the same thing for Alligator. So I literally left it off with the little goodbye thing, finishing up a day with that for Alligator. You guys probably didn't hear that, did you? Because the flipping camera seems to cut the microphone if you go too far away from it. Anyway, I'll be right back. Alright, guys. I said, wow, you are really big. And this is when I take a better look. He looks very similar to a Pokemon species, I know. Wait a minute. Are you a Totodile? The Totodile let out a soft rumble, a low sound that seemed to vibrate in his chest. He looked at you, then his reflection in the water. He seemed to understand your words, or at least the tone behind them. He turned his head to the side, exposing a large curved spike on his back. His teeth, even the ones not visible when his mouth was closed, looked sharp and formidable. He let out a low growl, but it wasn't a growl of anger. It was a rumbling, almost questioning sound. He seemed to be asking if you were right. If that was who he was. He had been alone for so long and had been so focused on survival that he had never really thought about what he was. He was just the Iron Jaw, the monster of the grotto. But now with a single question, you had given him a name, an identity he had long forgotten. He looked at you, a silent question in his eyes. He seemed to be asking, "Yes, what does that mean?" And there's where it gets a little bit confusing. Like, how am I supposed to answer that? How am I supposed to answer him back with that one? He says yes, but he's also seeming like he's kind of confused on his own identity. Apparently. Holy crap. Give me a second. Alright, guys. It says, I know your species from anywhere. I love Totodile, Crocodile, and Alligator so much. If you're in fact a Totodile, that is amazing. I don't know why you're so big, but you're still very cute even at that massive size. I like how I call the giant, more terrifying looking creatures cute. Oh, Totodile's still kind of adorable even as a massive creature, so who am I kidding? A flicker of what could almost be a smile touched the corners of the Totodile's massive jaw. It was a subtle thing, barely there, but it was there nonetheless. The word cute in particular seemed to resonate with him. He had been called many things in his life. Iron Jaw, Brute, Monster, but never had he been called cute. He let a low rumbling chuff, and for a first time you saw a hint of the playful, mischievous nature that was inherent in his species. He slowly padded forward, his body now completely out of the deeper shadows. And what I was going to say, it was in the shallows, right? In the world? He was a magnificent specimen, his scales a deep, vibrant green, and his massive frame a testament to his strength and resilience. He lowered his head and nudged your outstretched hand with the tip of his snout. It was a delicate touch for such a powerful creature. A sign that his trust, once so broken, was beginning to mend. The air around him, once heavy with an intimidating aura, was now just filled with the quiet rustle of leaves and the gentle lapping of the water. He was no longer just a legend. He was just a Totodile. He was no longer just a legend. He was just a Totodile. A very big, very cute Totodile. The sun was now fully set, and the grotto was bathed in the soft light of the rising moon. The air was cool, and the sound of the crickets was louder now. The Totodile remained close, his yellow eyes glowing in the dark, watching with a newfound curiosity. He seemed to be waiting, perhaps for another berry, perhaps just for you to stay. The choice was yours. Give me a second, guys.